Welcome, everybody. Let's go Niners. My name is Jason Aponte. What is up, 49er fans? I am Jason Aponte, joined by my dog, Eric Crocker. Eric Crocker from Locked on 49ers. What's up, Croc? What's the deal, man?
Oh man, I'm good, man. Just got done training my athletes and having a good time with them, and ready to talk some 49er football. Let's go.
And man, I appreciate you giving me time, man. You know, this guy is up at like 5 in the morning, working out, then doing pods, then taking care of his daughter, then taking care of like these athletes. Man, I gotta take a nap most days, bro. And I know you ain't with that at all.
Nah, man, you just gotta keep going. And you know what? I do a lot, but I'm very blessed to do things that I love doing. So to me, it doesn't seem like a chore. I get to wake up early. I've been working towards being more healthy or being healthier, excuse me. And I get to work with athletes. I get to talk about 49ers and, be able to provide for my family off of that. So I can't complain at all. And then I get to, if I want to take off, Thursday, heading out to Atlanta, spend some time out there and get ready to watch the 49ers football game. So I can't complain. I'm having fun.
Yeah, I hear that, man. Make sure you guys like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell. I'll be out there in Atlanta as well, too. So if you see Eric Crocker, say what's up. Make sure you ask him for a picture. He always loves those. Make sure that you run up on him and run down on him.
So I shake my head, not because like I don't want to take a picture or something, but to me I just feel like I'm just like y'all. Like I'm part of the faithful. Like I don't look at myself as like, oh, I'm above or anything. Like, man, hey, I want to take a picture with y'all, man. Hey, you listen to the show? Let's snap a photo. I want to thank you for supporting us. So y'all the real heroes, man.
Yeah, man. I think it's the funniest thing too, because Crocker's very humble like that. Like he's gonna say what's up, he'll take the picture with you, but he's still, he definitely believes that. But I love being in the same spot with him and making him feel like that. Are you Eric Crocker? Like he's just like, oh man, get on my face, man. Like, but yeah, we will be in Atlanta. Just talking, Little Baby dropping an album on Friday in Atlanta. Ooh, Magic City maybe on the docket, just to go see what that's hitting like. But we're not here to talk about Atlanta just yet. There's a lot of buzz out there, Croc. A lot of people who want to know. Obviously, many of us believe the 49ers are contenders. I don't think that people in the NFC, I don't think that people need to hear that. I think that there's a lot of people that still just say, well, who have they really beaten? And are they actually good? This is a discussion that's out there. It is. And it's valid. We're 5 weeks in. We've got a good enough sample size. What are your thoughts in the first 5 weeks as where the 49ers are? And Axel, if your team's not playing in the playoffs, you don't get to talk about baseball. So don't do that.
My thoughts on this team right now, as it stands, is I think with the 49ers, I think first you got to start with the coaching staff. And you look at Kyle Shanahan, you look at D'Amico Ryan, what those guys have done, and typically the positions that they put their players in. And just from that standpoint alone, I think you say, you know what, this is going to be a well-coached team, and they're going to have an opportunity. Now you go to the playing field, and you look at the elite players that the 49ers have that contribute to the wins. And you look at the Deebo Samuels, the George Kittles, the Brandon Ayuk, not elite yet, but really good. But you got an elite fullback and weapon and Kyle Juszczyk and Trent Williams and Bosa and all these guys on the defensive side of the ball. I'd say this team is definitely a contender. Now, the one thing that could potentially derail that is the injuries, right? Yeah. So you got to figure out how to overcome that. But just in the grand scheme of things and how I view this team, definitely a team that I'd say come postseason, a lot of other teams don't really want to play because they bring a certain level of physicality, right? Like, let's take it back to last season. You see the 49ers against the Dallas Cowboys, and you see the 49ers against the Dallas Cowboys. And I remember, everybody was harping on, 49ers, physical. And the Cowboys are like, man, we the bullies. Like, you know what I'm saying? You can't bully the bullies and all this other stuff that they were saying. And it's like, nah, like, if you got to really live that, right? Like that physicality life, and the 49ers definitely live that. So they're going to have an opportunity to beat anybody that they go up against, not just for the rest of the season, but also in the postseason as well.
Yeah, and again, there's 4 quarters of not only a football game, a season, right? I mean, obviously there's a 17th game, so it kind of throws it off, but they had it perfect. 4, 8, 12, 16. It was 4 quarters. And what a team looks like during one quarter of the season doesn't mean it's how they'll look at the end of the season right now. Like, obviously, when you look around the NFC, and I think this is where a lot of 49er fans should be excited, is when you look around the NFC, there's teams that are struggling, But there's teams that are struggling for different reasons. And what I mean by that is Green Bay's not necessarily missing anybody from injury or anything like that, right? Like that they're getting back as far as reinforcements. This is their team largely how they're going to look, aside from like Bakhtiari, who's having trouble like staying on the field, right? That's their team. Tampa's offensive line is decimated. The Rams, they need a deep threat. Their offensive line is decimated, right? Like these teams right now, they're not necessarily getting anything back. For the 49ers, for them to be this dominant, and I don't care who's on the schedule, when you're down 6 starters and your defense still looks like this and you're still able to generate pressure with the depth and the coaching staff and you know, the Emmanuel Mosley thing, we're going to find out how quickly that's going to affect them. I'm gutted for that kid because he was about to, cash out. But Jason Verrett could be somebody who everybody's like, well, why do you keep messing around with Jason Verrett? Why do you keep – this is why. This is the depth that you had. And this, remember when we had a discussion on your show about 2012 defense and this defense? It's the depth in the secondary right now that I think is the edge right now at this point, right? Now, we don't know the severity of Jimmy Ward's injury, but when you look at how this team has performed, largely, any team that has lost their starting quarterback, starting left tackle, starting running back, starting free safety, starting cornerback too, all of those things, starting linebacker,
quarterback,
right? Yeah, starting quarterback. Yeah, so and then you got your, Aziz Al-Shaair hasn't played, Eric Armstead hasn't played, Javon Kinlaw hasn't played. Most of those teams are cooked. Like that would just say your season is done. But this team is so deep that this is the reason that people are so big. And then you think about it, the reinforcements are on their way sooner than later. Trent Williams will be back soon. Eventually we hope that Elijah Mitchell will be there. And we got a donation from Corey. If I take this team out of its historical context, I can't reasonably say they're a contender when they've yet to play a good team and still in the bottom of the league of scoring. So here we go. Thank you for the donation, Corey. Croc, this is what I was talking about. These are the discussions that are happening, right? And I think that this is a valid discussion. It's not something that I necessarily agree with, the sentiment. I believe that this team is very good, but this can't be ignored, I think. What do you think about what Corey had to say here?
I think you play who's on your schedule. And I think the 49ers have proven when you look at this team as a contender, I think it's because people just know what they're going to get, whether they play the best team in the league or the worst team in the league, which even right now, who, as it pertains to just challenging them, who is the best team
Philly
in the league?
Philly.
Right. I mean, and if we say Philly, they aren't as battle tested as even the 49ers, right? Like for the nucleus of this 49ers team, between the players and the coaches, like they've been there, done that. So we at the very least know more about whether the 49ers lose a couple games early on or whatever. We still know more about who the 49ers are in the long run than what we know of the Philadelphia Eagles.
That's true.
And that's not to knock them. I mean, what they're doing is tremendous. I think they are definitely complementing each other. They have an offense that's capable of putting up a lot of points. But just overall, and I get it, the points, I want the 49ers to score more points offensively too, especially if we want them to be who we think that they can become. But we know who this team is. For them, it was never about, oh man, like well, some people did panic. But I was on my show, 49ers were 1-2, and I'm like, dude, don't panic. Like, this team's going to win 10, 11 games. Right? We know who they are. So they'll always be contenders because of the coaching and the talent that they have. I don't scoring and stuff like that, like those things is going to come as the season goes on.
And that's another thing, right? Like how much of this in the offense, because they're trending in the right direction, right? I mean, it can't get any worse than Denver. Got a little bit better, got a little bit better, got a little bit better, right? Like this is, and again, sure, competition matters. But I think that the concern that and maybe I don't want to speak for Corey, I don't want to speak for other people. The concern that many people have about the offense is games are not always going to go the way that you think they are in terms of your defense, right? Like, I don't suspect the 49ers defense is going to allow games for them to be down like 21-0 and they have to play from behind. But it is the NFL, and there's times like that where it happens. And there's times where you can't just win on your defense. You can't just win those games, right. And especially down the stretch. Like, and then at the end of the year, it always usually ends up being the team that's either the hottest or the healthiest. And sometimes those go hand in hand, hottest and healthiest. But I think the concern is when you get into these games, like 2 weeks down the line against the Chiefs, or 2-3 weeks after that, the San Diego Chargers, the LA Chargers, can you score enough points if your defense gives up 21 points for the first time, or 24 points? Can you score 27? And I think that's probably the concern.
I think that would be a concern, but I think a lot of that is, I guess, a little bit of kind of projecting your fears on this team. And I am one that has called out, like, can the 49ers be more aggressive offensively in the sense of saying, hey, we do want to go out and outscore, like we want to score 35 points a game. I don't even think that's in the 49ers mindset right now, right? Just with how they've kind of played and you see how the games are called. But I think Kyle Shanahan just looks at it like, all right, I know everybody's thinking you got to score all these points, but he's probably looking at it like we just got to score more than our opponent.
That's true.
And if you go out there and you play good defense, and we go out there and we score 24 points, which isn't a lot, but maybe the Kansas City Chiefs, how many points did Kansas City score last night?
27, 29, something like that. I think I gotta look that up. I mean, they had 4 tugs to Kelsey.
Right. So 28?
28, something like that. Yeah, I think those are the only touchdowns scored. I think it was like 28, 31, I think it might have been. I think they hit one 31, field goal.
I feel like they
hit a field goal.
They hit a field goal. So, and they missed one as well. So can you go out there and score 34? Well, they just showed this last game, whether it's by a pick six and some good defense or whatever. Hey, man, we put up 37 points. That would be enough to win that game. Now, again, you have to get the stops, et cetera.
30.
And I would say that the 49ers probably believe that their defense is better than the Raiders. Mm-hmm. Now, everybody matches up differently and stuff like that.
And that's a divisional game too, Croc. I don't want to dismiss that and just say, oh, well, the Kansas City Chiefs are struggling with a Raiders team that they shouldn't. That's a division game. Those games are weird.
They're always tight. And the Raiders always play them well. And I was really stupid to put money on the Chiefs -7. And I knew I shouldn't have. And I was thinking about, I'm like, Croc, you're stupid. Like, the Raiders always play them very well. Mm-hmm. Jumped out to a big lead as well. But, I score more than your opponent. And I think this 49ers team can do that. Yeah. Whether they have to score 37 to beat a team or whether they have to score, 17. Mm-hmm. They can. Now, will they do it? I think that, obviously the bigger question from week to week. But I don't worry about it. I don't worry about that. It's just, how do the 49ers match up against these teams? That's the better question.
Right.
How do the 49ers match up against the Kansas City Chiefs?
Right. Yeah, and that's going to be interesting. Again, don't want to overlook Atlanta at all either. Atlanta played a game not yesterday, Sunday, where they for large 3 quarters they weren't very good, but the 4th quarter they were close. Again, divisional game though. Like, those are the games that are like that. The 49ers still in their shape should take care of business with the Atlanta Falcons. Now, but that's the thing is, how much of this is, again, like, I love that you said projecting your fears, because I think that that's really like, okay, now we've seen kind of what this defense is. We've kind of seen what this offense can be. It's what's in the closet, what's under the bed, right? At night, like, what's the boogeyman in the closet ready to hop out? And I think it's that. It's like, if the 49ers get into a game where it's a track meet, and this is the NFL, it's going to happen sometimes. Sometimes you're going to get out schemed. Maybe you got a guy that's injured that, stylistically it doesn't match up. And that's what a lot of people forget. Like, when you say, oh, well, this team is better than this team, sure, they should win. But then when that team gives you a hard time, it's because they specifically do something that's hard for you to stop. And they don't have to necessarily be a good team to give you problems if you have a problem, at this one thing that they do very well. So I think that all of those things are interesting. And I think that right now, it's very, very valid for people to talk about this right now. And it's not something I'm ready to dismiss. But I do believe that this 49ers team is a contender. Now, let me ask you this, Croc. Philly, right? Can an argument be made that Dallas is better than Philly because they're winning so many games with Cooper Rush and Dak's on his way back? And that defense is incredible, man. Like, they're like, look, everybody was ready to, and you know what? Look, I'm guilty of this. And I don't hate DBs, Croc. Don't kill me. I don't hate DBs. But I pile on a little bit on Trevon Diggs. I do, right? I do. But he's been balling this year. He had one play against Cooper Kupp in the slot. Cooper Kupp caught it and took it to the crib. The only play of the game that the Rams did anything necessary. And one more. It's a 2-2 out well. But I'm not going to kill Trevon Diggs for that. He's a boundary corner. He had to go into the slot to cover a slot guy. I don't think people understand that. So everybody's just like piling on Trevon Diggs. That was the one time where I was like, I'm not really going to give him problems like that. But would it be fair to say that the Dallas Cowboys are better than the Philadelphia Eagles and possibly the team that the 49ers should really look out for?
I would say that I would rank Philly ahead just because offensively they've been better than what the Dallas Cowboys have. Now, again, the Cowboys defense is smothering, and it will give teams problems. When do Cowboys and Philly play? Is that this week?
This week, but Cooper Rush is going to start. So I don't think we're going to get to know anything about this game more than anything because of Cooper Rush.
Yeah, Cooper Rush is kind of doing that thing.
Game manager.
He's doing that thing. Huh?
His game manager. Like, he's like straight up in the Nick Mullins bag.
It's like, just don't lose the game
right.
for us. And he's doing a good job of that, right? And
yes.
they're not losing. I think he's playing better than what the 49ers got from Nick Mullins. Mm-hmm. So, you go out there and win a game completing 10 out of 16 passes. You kind of look to that defense and what they're doing. Cowboys defense is really good. Everybody talks about the 49ers defense, But I think it's the 49ers and the Cowboys who haven't given up 20 or more points in a game this season.
Yep.
So I'm excited to watch that game, but it really just more so about what Philly's offense looks like against Cowboys defense, which
Right.
that won't change even the next time they play, whether Dak Prescott's out there or not.
Right. And that's the thing that you should really be looking for. I think that this game is really not going to tell me like Philly could win this game. I'll probably put money on Philly winning this game just because the offense can't do it. Cooper Rush is going to be asked to do a little bit more. But yes, this Cowboys defense is legit, man. And it's hard for me to look at them and not look at them and say, you know what, that's the team that you really need to look out for. Green Bay, when you look at the way that they've been playing, nearly lost to Bailey Zappi and the Patriots, and then they go and they get beat by the 4-1 New York Giants, man. Like, the Giants are okay too, right? Like, they're playing well, but like, what I mean is, and we talked about this when we did the when we talked quarterbacks, right? There's an elite tier. Who are the elite teams in all of football, not just the NFC, right? I hesitate to even say it's more than 4 at this point, and everything else is just everybody else.
Yeah, I think it's hard to say right now, but I think, by when the second half of the season starts, I think we'll know a little bit more about teams. Like even 49ers, right? Right now, I think they are viewed as contenders, which is, the show is about. But I don't even think we've seen exactly what the 49ers are going to be in the sense of consistency, right? Like I know they'll be in the mix of things, but there is more to this offense than what we've seen so far. So I think they're going to get better there. Maybe you see them take a step back defensively because they're playing at a historically great pace right now. But, a lot of injuries, different things can change. But, I think we see an even better version of the 49ers as the season goes on.
Yeah, and I just want to take this comment from a guy called Ed. Have you guys seen who Dallas has played so far? Tampa lost. Dak broke his thumb in that game, and Tampa was better. Week 1, though, I'm ready to write that off. Week 1's a weird week. Cincy, they won with Cooper Rush. Giants won with Cooper Rush. Washington won with Cooper Rush. Rams won with Cooper Rush. Like, it doesn't matter who they played. They're winning with a backup quarterback, and their defense is locking all these teams up. Like, Cincinnati had a tough time moving the ball on them, like, at all. So, trust me, I'm the first one that doesn't want to give the Dallas Cowboys any credit. But when you look at how many games they've won with a backup quarterback in that defense, it's only natural for your eyes to go and say, well, what happens when Dak Prescott shows up? And they're going to get a boost. They don't have a game manager anymore. They got a guy who can make plays. So I think it's fair to heap praise on the Cowboys. I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. But, we'll see. We'll see going forward right now. Yeah.
Cowboys are hella good, man. Like, mean, I wouldn't even – this is a team last year. I mean, they won 13 games?
Yeah, last year.
And I know 49ers went out there beat – 49ers are good.
Yes.
So, like, that's not like a knock. Like, oh, you won 13 games and you lost to the 49ers. Well – heading into the game, I strongly felt 49ers will win. We
all did.
So, and not because the Cowboys were a bad team, but I just thought that good of how the 49ers will prepare and just the style of play that the 49ers have. So Cowboys, a 13-team win, and then you see them circle around and they're having a hot start, even being able to win with a backup quarterback. Well, the Cowboys are good. So it doesn't matter who they play. I mean, even week 1, you talk about that loss to Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay couldn't even score a touchdown. I don't even think they scored a touchdown.
Nah, but Ed, come on. You know the difference between the 49ers backup and Cooper Rush, right? Like, there's a difference. Like, Jimmy Garoppolo's a starting quarterback in this league. Yeah. I mean, again, I don't want to get into all of this again, but can you guys compare Dallas's D position by position? This is a good discussion. Let's do this, Croc, okay? We'll just rank it this way. Let's do secondary. Secondary first. 49ers, now without Emmanuel Mosley, Jimmy Ward for how long, and the Dallas secondary. What do you got?
I don't know. I mean, it's tough because I've watched every snap of the 49ers and how they fly around, how they look. Listen, at the end of the day, the Cowboys defense is dominant. Like that's and Michael Parsons might be the best defensive player in the NFL. And he's just as dominant as Nick Bosa. Now they use him in different ways. So his usage as a pure edge rusher, maybe the numbers aren't quite there, but I mean, he's the real deal. DeMarcus Lawrence balling. Like they got guys flying around. So I don't even think it's like, look at Dallas defense is great. 49ers defense is great. I'd say, I don't know. At the end of the day, I end up giving the edge to the 49ers because I just love their coaching. But even then, the Cowboys don't got especially on that defense side of the ball.
Dan Quinn.
Dan Quinn, he got that defense ball. Dan Quinn's, coached the team to a Super Bowl. Like, dude's not a bad coach.
Well, if my mood changes because the Houston Astros just came all the way back and finished the Seattle Mariners and just won Game 1, I'm sick to my stomach, man. Somebody's got to get the Astros out of here before they get the Yankees out of here. All right, but yeah, so let's do the secondary, right? Let's just do it like this, real quick. Quick yes no answer. Secondary, 49ers or Cowboys? This is a good one.
I don't know, man. They're good.
Yeah.
I don't know how to compare it, like, because they're different. Like the styles that they play is a little different. Some of the things that they're asked to do based on the schemes that they're in is just different. It's hard to just compare it like player for player.
Right.
But they got some playmakers over there, dude. Like, it's no coincidence last year that team led the NFL in interceptions. Like, they get after it. They got a pass rush that gets after it. They force takeaways. They pick the ball off. They're running it back for touchdowns. They're doing the same things as the 49ers. So, which, player for player, who's better? I don't know. I just know they're hella good. I just know
All
that.
right. So let's be biased. I'm going to say the 49ers, especially when you think about Jason Verrett being the first option off the bench. I don't think they have anybody like that they can just hop off the bench right there and go in for an Emmanuel Mosley. So you know what? Let's be biased. I'm going to say the 49ers. Linebackers, I'm going to say the 49ers. Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw. Okay. Now,
that's easier for me to be like, 49ers linebacker. I'll take that.
For sure.
Now, you gotta remember, Michael Parsons, early downs, they'll put him at linebacker and him sideline to sideline, and some of the things that they're even asking him to do in coverage. I mean, if Michael Parsons, if they just said, all right, hey, you're going to be an off-ball middle linebacker all year, he'd be arguably probably the best middle linebacker in the NFL. Yeah. He just doesn't. They just tell him to rush the passer too.
Right.
And he's like second in pressures in the NFL and like tied in with the most sacks. So I mean, it's like, you see what I'm saying? Like it's hard to.
But I'll give it to the 49ers.
Michael Parsons would be the best linebacker on the 49ers if they said, hey, we're going to put you at middle linebacker. Who's going to compete? You and Fred Warner.
Ooh, all right. I kind of want – no, I don't want to get into that one. I respect that opinion. I just disagree with it because Fred –
I hate the Cowboys too, by the way.
No, I know, of course.
I hate the Cowboys. My
Your brother's a big Cowboys fan,
Cowboy
right?
fan.
Yeah,
my big brother, diehard
yeah.
Cowboy fan. I grew up. Yeah. We literally, we would fist fight over 49ers, Cowboys, and that type of thing. I hate them, but I'm being realistic at what Michael Parsons is, and I know people don't. If you don't really watch him, or if you're not really paying attention, and like kind of what he's special, like special. Yeah. With what he's able to do, there's not another player on defense like him in the NFL, at least doing it to the extent. I think it was, what's the kid that got drafted to the Arizona Cardinals? I think he was supposed to be some kind of variation of this.
Simmons.
No, not Simmons.
The linebacker?
From Temple.
Oh, I don't know. They'll probably sell us in the chat. I can't remember.
It was a couple, like he got drafted like 4 or 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
But he was a guy that's like, is he an edge rusher? Is he a linebacker? Like kind of a tweener. He can do both things. I think he had a solid year last year getting some sacks. Michael Parsons, we ain't seen that, bro. We ain't.
Collins?
Nope, not Collins.
Nope. Okay.
Nah. Went to Temple, I believe. Was kind of went to the Senior Bowl as like, is he going to be a pass rusher? Is he going to be a linebacker? Cardinals drafted him.
Yeah, Hassan Reddick. Hassan Reddick. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, him. Like. Okay. Michael Parsons is like the souped up version of that.
The Mike Martz Drake. I had to ban Mike Martz from my. I mean, apparently Mike Martz has got nothing better to do but trash Trey Lance and join my comments. I had to ban him. He's a big Rams fan. But all right, defensive line. This is the good part of this one. Defensive line. 49ers or Cowboys. Oh, I didn't even see this.
Yeah, they signed him earlier today.
Yeah,
defensive line.
Yeah.
I'd say Nick Bosa and Parsons are like
they're neck and neck. Yeah,
they're neck and neck. And then do you take like Drake Jackson or DeMarcus Lawrence, or whoever else the 49ers have over there?
Ebukam.
Yeah, Ebukam. I mean, that's tough. I don't like this conversation.
Let's change it. But what do you think of this?
Like this?
What do you think of the T.Y. McGill signing?
I mean, I think the 49ers have done a really good job of bringing in guys that can contribute, especially with the depth, and they need those rotation type players. So I don't think he's somebody that like moves the needle, But I think
Mm.
in the sense of having guys that you can put bodies out there and guys that can contribute, I think they do a good job of finding those type of guys. And when you combine that with who the 49ers defensive line coach is, Chris Kasurk, and I think he does an amazing job of having guys ready, I'd say that's a good signing.
All right. So look, I'm not gonna stick around for too much longer because the Yankee game
Hold
is
on.
about to. Yeah. Go ahead.
Somebody said Parsons and Bosa are neck and neck
Yeah,
for
they
real.
are. They are.
I
They
mean,
are. They are. And look, I hate to even broach this subject, have this discussion. He's
no, you
incredible,
wanted
man.
to have this discussion.
I didn't want to have this discussion about Michael Parsons. I don't like giving the Cowboys any praise at all. Trust me, man. Like, there's not a team. The only two teams that I strongly dislike, because hate's a really strong word in any sport, are the Boston Red Sox and the Dallas Cowboys. So it's hard for me to even say anything nice about the
Yeah.
Dallas Cowboys. But Michael Parsons is really, really fucking good, man. Like and yes, Rainey's picture is really funny, man. Do you see the picture?
Oh
It's
wow. I thought that was Rini, but yeah, my bad.
but all right. So look, 5 minutes left because I got to get in front of the TV. It's time to lock in. Game one's about to start for the New York Yankees. What realistically do the 49ers need to do for you to feel like they're on their way to being a contender, right? Because I've got an answer, and mine's real quick is play good defense, stay healthy, and score enough points, right? But like I think it's more than that, right? Like, is there something else that the 49ers need to do you think? Like not only offensively, but like is there one more thing that you like to see that would really put you in a spot where you're just like, yeah, they're gonna be into the Super Bowl if they keep playing like this?
I think Kyle probably instill a little bit more confidence in his offense. And
Mm-hmm.
they can lie and say that they're confident with what they have right now, but I'd say, really like make people fear their offense. And I think people might fear the scheme a little bit, but I don't know if people fear uh, the production to this point. So make people fear the offense like they fear the defense, and I think that's when it's like, all right,
Okay, I like it, man. And yeah, look, the whole point of this is just to inspire discussion. I know people are going to look at this topic and they're just going to say, "Oh, Jason trying to stir the pot." No, I'm just trying to open up discussion. That's all. That's what I like doing. And I think that the 49ers are a contender. Especially we have 5 weeks now. We have 5 weeks. We got the first round of bye weeks here. 5 weeks. We kind of know what teams are and what teams can be. And again, if your team doesn't have significant injuries, I don't see how your team would change. I don't see how your circumstances would change, right? Like with the Rams, their offensive line's banged up and they don't have a deep threat. Matthew Stafford's banged up. Like there's a lot of things going against them right now. Does that mean that they won't add somebody to stretch
right.
the field? Yeah, we don't know, right? Like as of right now, these are their flaws. And when you look at the NFC West, I posted the stats today. It was it's so insane when you think about how good the 49ers have been. And I'm gonna find it right now. It is goodness gracious. All right. The NFC West point differentials. Plus 47 for the 49ers, minus 36 for the Rams, minus 18 for the Arizona Cardinals, and minus 27 for the Seahawks. And we're still talking about this team not getting on track offensively. So
Right.
that's where I'm just like, man, you get Elijah Mitchell back, you start to add another running back into this rotation. I mean, Tevin Coleman, for whatever reason, and I don't know what the Carolina Panthers did to that man. He just destroys them. Like, and now Marlon Mack's gone because of that. They were just like, hey, Marlon Mack, it was fun, but Tevin Coleman's back with the do rag. Like this team, there's still another gear there, and I still think that they're getting there, and they're still going to figure it out. So yeah, I do think that the offense is largely what you want to see because things don't go the same way that you think it will then to the end of the season. So, Jay Aguayo says Parsons couldn't stop when we ran at him and can't cover. People really don't like the whole, you would take Parsons over a linebacker on the 49ers take. But we don't have to talk about that anymore. I'm not trying to talk about that anymore. We're done with that. Hey, Croc, I appreciate you, man. This is a short episode, 30 minutes. Appreciate you guys for tapping in. Almost 200 people in here. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell for when we go live. Croc, tell them everywhere that you are going to be, man, and where they can find you.
Oh, the main place, man. Locked on 49ers. We put out 5 episodes a week. Myself, my co-host Brian Peacock, and we're fighting right now to get his Twitter account back, man. He got hacked, and Twitter, they weren't messing with him, so we're
Croc,
trying to get his.
does it strike me that I know Brian, right? I've met him in real life. I've spoken with him. Doesn't seem like he cares either about getting. Does he really care or?
He does because he's had some different opportunities that all of a sudden,
Oh,
it's like, well, dang, I only have
Can't
this
reach back
opportunity if
out.
I have my account. So
Right.
we're hoping he gets it back. I think it was one of those things where he didn't care at first, but then once you don't have Twitter for like 2-3 weeks, it's like I kind of want my account back now. So
Damn.
yeah, no, he definitely wants his account back. But yeah, Locked On
Damn.
49ers, myself, Brian Peacock, come at you 5 days a week. And shout out to all the listeners. It's really wild, man. Like every game I go to with the 49ers on the road and whatnot, people stop me and tell me how much they love the show. And I think that's like amazing to me. I never would have imagined as much love as people give for us. And looking at the numbers, we typically have the number one show on the entire network, which it's a big network. And there's some big time shows, and Locked On 49ers typically is number one at the top. So shout out to all the people that listen to that. Then of course you can find me on Twitter at Eric_Crocker. And I got the San Francisco 49ers morning show that I typically do every morning for the most part. And you type in Eric Crocker on YouTube, the channel should pop up. And it's more of a like a radio type vibe where we're just chilling. I bring people on. Like I love hearing your perspective. I give my thoughts, but what I say, that's not Bible. So you come on, we have a good conversation. Nobody's wrong or anything like that. It's a nice, chill, relaxed environment. So San Francisco 49ers morning show, tune into that on the YouTube channel.
Yeah, man. And Croc, I appreciate you, bro. As always, man, I know that you're very busy, and I appreciate your time. Always appreciate the insight, and can't wait to kick it in Atlanta. This time gonna be a little bit different, though. You ain't got to worry about me, holding on to the bottle in the club. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man, I ain't gonna tell nobody, man.
Hey, what you gonna
bring it up?
What you gonna tell him? What you gonna tell him? Y'all didn't have to. Yo, you know what? Let's end this. Let's end this right now.
Hey, Ponte was crying, y'all. Like, I'm like, damn.
Damn.
I'm not like an emotional person, so I'm trying to figure out how I help my dog.
And you know what's crazy is like I thought I was in, I thought I was in a safe place, but apparently I'm not, man. I know now I gotta buck up, man. I can't let my emotions get the best of me.
We're good.
No, it's gonna be.
You know what I'm saying? We gotta keep the drinks to a limit.
Yeah, that's it. It's gonna be good to kick it with you again in Atlanta, man. So yeah, fly safe. I'll see you out there. But shout out to everybody who tapped in. Appreciate you guys. Almost 200 people in here at the same time. Make sure you guys like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, follow me on Twitter. And yeah, 49ers are on to Atlanta, and you should be having fun. This team is really good. So for Croc and for Jay, we're out of here. Welcome everybody. Let's go Niners. My name is Jason Aponte.